relegation spot overall in EUL. They've had a tough year. They come out in stage 3, look like a completely new team, refreshed, get themselves to the major, which Meepy said himself is a bonus to them. But right now, Des, they're on the cusp of going to the 6th Invitational. I mean, what a turnaround. That is what they are facing here, and fighting to 15 rounds on Cafe against current major champions Team 1 and coming away with the map with that sort of pressure on your shoulders. What? Rogue have got it all to do here.
It's worth stressing, of course, the current war, basically, if Rogue gets to top 4, to make it nice and simple for you, they get top 4, they get SI, TSM don't. So I guarantee there are plenty of TSM fans and players and staff, so on and so forth, watching with nervous trepidation.
Well, lessons been learned there.
There's been a few lessons learned here. The Flores being taken away by Rogue towards what we saw coming out of Levy in the last match. Capitao, a really interesting one, does of course now have the double hard breach gadget after that recent buff, where anyone with said hard breach gadget received 2. So more valuable in multiple ways. I think here when attacking downstairs, especially with the number of hatches, Capitao can be very, very valuable when it comes to the execute. Valkyrie, not surprised to see that one taken away. Just bullied both teams in the last map. And the Kaid, one of those that I look at and think, well, you've got Thatcher on side, you've got the Maverick. Do you need to really worry about banning it here? I don't want to go as far as saying a wasted ban by Rogue, but one that I look at and think you probably could have banned something more effective here.
Potentially. Very much potentially. Round number 1, Rogue are going to start us on the defense. That's where they've just excelled on Cafe. Whether that's going to be the same here on Oregon or not will play out over the next potentially 12, potentially 15 rounds, Des, as this one
don't tease
on.
me.
But I don't think the defense is necessarily going to be quite as solid here. I think they're going to have a little bit more joy on the attack from these two. I think we're going to see it mixed up a little bit more.
Well, we'll see about that.
Hoping we see it mixed up a little bit.
We'll see about that one, Tim. Rogue 2-0ing Team 1 was on no one's scratch cards, I guarantee you of that much. Round 1 is downstairs in the basement site. Of course, there is no soft construction for this site on the ceiling, which means you're much more focused on pushing in through either freezer and laundry or up towards the north and trying to push your way through construction or big tower. Now on the side of Rogue, what they're doing is looking to extend and play above here. So rather than conceding the second floor and the ground floor over to Team 1 early on, they want to start a little bit of a war here, Ace. They want to get themselves present and see what kind of challenge they can give. They have got the attic hatch reinforced, so they can't be challenged from above, so they definitely want someone playing inside of meeting and looking to waste as much time as possible. In this case, it's Aces looking to catch them maybe off the rip, staying inside a split and looking down towards that front lobby door.
Cryan's on the Mozzie upstairs as well, so he's going to stick up there for the time being. And again, it's something Team 1 need to make sure that they're covering off, that they're getting those drones in and getting that information so that they're aware of his position. They actually benefited from a lack of drone utilisation out of Rogue on a number of rounds of Cafe, so they need to make sure that they don't fall foul of that themselves. And for the time being, they're going to be sending drones into the big tower, make sure that the rear stage area is safe to head into. Alamau will indeed do that. Neskin, he's going to be droning down into that bottom floor. He's looking for the challenge into meeting straight away, Des. As you said, this is going to be a position that they try to hold them up in. Aces going to be under pressure soon.
They are quite split though. One's pushing down towards lobby. They have one in small tower. They've got 2 coming up through big tower. So just like back on Cafe, both teams aren't scared of splitting off and not attacking as a 4 or a 5 from one direction. They are happy to play different angles. You've got Lagonis down to the south. Neskin currently sat inside a garage and one out towards small tower. But I'm looking at that drone counter slowly dwindling down. Only 5 still remaining for Team 1, which you can see in the top left corner of your screen. The lower that gets, the more nervous you've got to be, because then it comes to Swing City and trying to find whatever kill you can.
Levy just giving himself the health boost there before going into that gunfight. Neskin just battling with Aces. Is Levi and Leon are going to trade out. Alamau gets a kill on Soprano. It was KDS that went down in the mix for Team 1, but they've come away on top, Des, from a flurry of kills. They sit 4 versus 3, and that could be a problem for Rogue, because Aces last seen out on the roam, Crying on the roam. They need to start working their way back towards site, but they might not be working through safe territory anymore, especially Crying.
Now, indeed, I mean, down to a 4 versus 3. It's a bit dicey when you're on that defensive side here to hold back. They haven't got everyone they need, and Cryan needs to make an impact. He tried so many flanks back on Cafe that was shut down, ending on 8 and 11. It wasn't a bad game for him, but definitely not as impactful as they would have hoped for. Aces currently looking to contest north side. Rips holding inside of Freezer and waiting for this push to come through. They sort of need Cryan back on site. Rips finds one back, but site control conceded entirely to Team One. They've got the north, they've got the site, they can go for a plant, and here comes Cryan on his flank. Have they seen him? But Alimal wins the fight. Sorry, Leve actually gets him in the end, and this one will go down to a 3 versus 1, which Rips is going to really struggle to win back.
Certainly is. It's pressure being piled on now as that diffuser goes down. Lagonis manages to successfully complete the plant. He knows exactly where the last man is. He's just going to hold his angle. He's not going to push that. Absolutely no need to. Rips just trying to get anything he can, and look at this. He's just being prodded and poked from every side. There's one at pillars, one there inside of sight. What a crossfire, absolute nightmare for Rips. There was nothing he could do realistically. That round was over 30 seconds before that point. That's going to be Team One taking a ruthless, I will call it, ruthless attack onto basement.
Yeah, it's like the side of Rogue tried to make an impact early on with the kitchen hold, for example, and Cryan being out on their own for so long up on the top floor was looking to make a big impact. But just like back on Cafe, he tries to make these late round appearances that Team One just seem prepared for. It's not quite the same story where a double or a triple come raining through that we've seen from some teams so far at the Major. And that first one, a very decisive first win for Team One.
Heading into round number 2 then, it's going to be Kids, Dorms and Dorms main hall this time around, so we'll be heading up to the top floor for the defenders. Rogue deciding that they want no more of that action, Des, after what they've just experienced down in Laundry. They're instead going to switch it up, head up to the top floor and see if they can put Team One to sleep for at least this round.
At least this round. They need something, right? I mean, if you're rolling through most of Oregon being able to pick up a defensive round, there's going to be a problem. And the thing is, when I say that, even to myself, I find myself catching myself and reminding myself of what we said about these two teams. Both have a sub 50% win rate on defense so far throughout the Sweden Major. On the attacking side, Rogue at 61, Team One up towards about 75%. They are both very good attacking teams, and whilst Cafe is notoriously been this
Don't mention Cafe. Don't mention Cafe.
That just completely breaks our story in half when we start talking about Cafe is the issue. Either way, we need to see Rogue find something on the defense here. Even if it's just 3 rounds, then they can put their own attacking prowess to use on the attacking side and see what comes off the back of it.
I feel like they do need those 3, Des. I think that figure that you've picked up there is right, because I look at Team One and I think getting them onto the defense of Oregon, if they can just lock down one site, if they get 4 here on attack, they just need to lock down one site and they guarantee themselves overtime, if nothing else. And I think that they are absolutely capable of doing that. So yes, for Rogue, I think 3 is going to be important. They certainly can't be facing a 5-1 half this time around. Now then, out on the roam once again, Cryan on the Jaeger. Damage going to be done. I like this. This is very aggressive from Rogue. They've got Cryan playing just outside of the bathroom corridor. They've got one in Classroom looking to get aggressive. They've got Leon downstairs as well. Team One maybe not recognising just at this point that site is pretty empty. They've got aces underneath as well.
I like how they've got aces covering from kitchen, so no one can push in dining and flank Cryan here, meaning all his attention is on this window and it's on the corridor itself up towards small tower. Leon's kind of playing what Cryan did last time round, where he's tucking into a corner and he will strike if someone doesn't know that he's there, which I guarantee you they don't. Every drone that has been sent in has been dealt with. Levy almost able to find one, running back at the bottom of White Stairs, but unable to hit his shots in time.
Cryan just conscious of potentially being pushed from Freezer there. He's actually going to drop himself down into bathroom. They've no idea, Des. Leon just getting a freebie onto KDS. The instant trade coming out, something that Team One have done pretty well so far today, is keep that man count level. 4 versus 4. Levy just looking to clear utility and any potential bystanders off White Stairs there, whilst the pressure is going to be put more through that double window.
You can see how it's setting up right. It's a White Stairs and big window execute. Yep. Forgetting about the normal breach, forgetting about Attic entirely. Rogue just being very passive about this.
Don't forget about Cryan though. That is the important point that they need to make sure they don't forget, Des, because he's in a perfect position. He's on a little lurk around Freezer, and if they haven't picked up on him, when they try the White Stairs element of this push, they're going to find themselves getting flanked heavily. Now then, Levy looking to just get himself in towards Attic, possibly.
They've got 2 members that have rotated away from the big window and White Stairs taken, and now looking for Armory window and Kids.
Oh!
And he finds one through the window. A freebie onto Prano as well. Alamau traded out at the top of Armory. 3 versus 3, and Rogue have got control of the ground that one spent most of the round trying to get control of. I'm not sure this transition was the play, Ace.
I'm not sure it was. Prano did get himself caught out being a little nosy Nelly on the attic window there, Des, but he's been punished. Levy gets himself inside a sight, but Crying, he's got himself back in there from that lurk, and he's going to now look to start finding frags, and boy does he. 3 versus 2 for Rogue at the minute. 15 seconds left to go. Team 1 got to get moving. Find the first kill. Neskin onto Crying, as you say, both on white. Lagonis gets ripped. It's all falling apart again for Rogue on the defense. Lagonis is getting that diffuser down. He's going to successfully do this. No two ways about it. Ace is shut down. Somehow, this time it's Neskin and Lagonis. I said it in map 1. I'm going to say it again now. Lagonis in short-handed situations has a habit of winning.
That's one of those, again, that Rogue will look back on, akin to their 4 versus 2 on Cafe that they ended up losing. It's only a small example of it, but 1 or 2 rounds coming across the series can have a big impact. That one you look at, Rogue being incredibly fluid. You know, Team 1 moved from a west side take, looking towards White Stairs, looking towards Big Window, and were too fearful of Crying, so rotated over towards Attic, over towards Armory, and managed to get in through windows. They weren't even like having to breach anything, they were pushing through a laser gate at the end of a round, and they ended up Rogue with 2 players stuck on the white single doorway, which is a death sentence because you give all the site control over to Team 1. Really well played by Team 1. They're 2-0 up, and Rogue need to start finding defenses here.
Back up to that top floor for Rogue. I don't think there was necessarily too much wrong with how they started the round there, Des. I thought the first 2.5 minutes for Rogue were actually pretty good. They got themselves a couple of kills. They managed to get Crying back onto site. They felt like they had a bit of control when it was 3 versus 3, but then they just weren't able to win out those final gunfights, and Team 1 found a way. So I think Rogue probably won't try to change too much here. They're not going to get away with some of the same things, though. Leon hiding inside of showers, for example. That's not going to wash this time.
Nope.
5 seconds to go.
It took me 3 seconds, Tim.
I absolutely love that sometimes Des and I will have like little puns in the cast, and sometimes we just breeze past them, and that was one of them moments that Des was going to carry on, and then it clicked. And he was like, no, I'm not having that.
You have to give your co-caster the judgmental look of, I hate it, but fair play at the same time. Absolutely. You know who's not loving it? Rogue, down 2-0. As we've said several times over, they need to find that first defensive round. It's been eluding them so far. Here they're back up on that top floor once again. Clearly feeling they can amend the issues from last time round. Team 1 have definitely amended their attack, mind you. There's Lagonis. I'll tell you what, Leon, he's fancying a jump out here. Does Lagonis know? I don't think Lagonis knows that he's ready for this jump out. This could be a freebie. He's heard the blast come through as well from Lagonis and knows that he's there. Go for it, Leon. This is your chance for a freebie, if ever you're going to find one. Elsewhere, here comes the jump out. A free spray down onto Lagonis. As simple as 1, 2, 3 for Leon.
Leon's having a good game so far here on Oregon. Got himself the opening kill in every round up to this point, and he's really starting to put Rogue into these rounds. He's doing his bit. It just needs everything else to click into place for them as the rest of the round continues. 5 versus 4 we stand at the minute. KDS looking to make the challenge from Trophy Door there, just in time with that E1D scan as well, potentially providing a bit of information if the defenders move. Prano, he's ready, locked and loaded this time. He got caught in no man's land last time, but not this time.
He's coming up, finds one for himself as well. He's already caught one and now bats himself inside of Armory. KDS isolated inside of the bedroom here. They've got one sat outside on the big window. Again, it's a 5 versus 2. Surely, Rogue don't throw away this kind of league, Tim, but we've said it before.
I don't think they do. This is going to be a Rogue round for me. They've looked too solid. Like I said, they obviously felt confident in their defense of this site, and they thought, no, let's go back, let's do similar work, and we'll get this one over the line. And they've certainly done that. They've adapted a little bit. Prano, for example, not getting aggressive onto that attic window. They've just corrected those couple of mistakes that left them in the situation where they could be turned around. Now then, that's an easy one as Leon gets sprayed down, but the cover is there from Crying. Beautifully stepping out onto Levy, leaving KDS super low health. 1 versus 4, matter of time here.
3 of them all waiting as well. There was one at the top of White, one top of Freezer Stairs, one security. They know where KDS is. They know where he needs to come from because he needs to recover the diffuser. But he's in a spot with 30 seconds to go where he's got to kill 3, if not all 4 members of Rogue with a slither of HP. It's going to be a swing, Crying, finding the closing kill, and Rogue finally get that defensive round win they've been looking for.
Rogue start themselves off on Oregon. It's taken them 3 rounds, but they get 1. And the thing is, it's not a huge, you know, they're not facing a huge lead from Team 1 here. It's 2-1. It's absolutely fine. That was an important round to win. If that goes the other way, you start thinking, right, this is, you know, we're on the back foot now. But Team 1, they're going to be attacking onto Laundry and Supply again this time. It was an attack that they took very well last time out. They just cut Crying off on the roam. He started out in top floor around dorms and games room, and there was no way back for him. He just couldn't. He tried to push rear stage. They were well aware. They were already in sight by then. So Rogue need to think a little bit about their roam game here and exactly how they're going to utilise that. Aces as well played in meeting, was shut down. There just wasn't much that they really brought anywhere in the map apart from the basement level.
Well, here they're digging in with the mirror. Leon stepping across to playing on that with the Vector in hand. Keen to see if that means he stays a site player, because he has been that go-to entry player alongside Aces. But in this round, you've got Rips moving across onto the Jaeger. So maybe a little bit of a change up here where Leon will be the site player sitting along with Prano. You'll get Aces probably looking to be out on the roam, which I'm always unsure of when I see it with Mai, right? Actually asked Lycan about this, you know, what do you think about the changes coming in where Mai now gets 2 more magnets? Is he more of a site player? And he said, well, the thing is, you don't really like take Mai to be a site player. He plays, you know, the perimeter players. They'll sit on Pixel on Cafe, for example. They'll look to hold down areas of the map. The only reason why Wamai would still be alive with about 30 seconds left on the clock, which is when he gets his final Wamai disc out, is if you're already winning. So the way Lycan put it was, he helps you to win more if you're already winning. But in the case you're losing, it's basically ineffective. The round will be done, likelihood, by that point already if you're already that far behind.
And it looks like Ace is going to be taking up one of those sort of similar positions on the perimeter. Des, he's at the top of rear stage stairs at the minute, just, well, as I say the top, he's at the mid-level of rear stage stairs, looking to just challenge into rear stage for the time being. Now, Alamau's got himself straight in, could come head-to-head with Aces here. He's looking to move up aggressively, straight in, knows that the man's there. You could see the pre-fire on to the rear stage stairs, so he knows that that's where Aces has been played, and he knows that's probably sufficient to have moved him away.
Here's in the spot where they do have control of what they need. Now need to look starting to get these hatches opened up. Lagonis on the queen of hatches herself. Habana going to have that focus to charge around this ground floor and look to get everything opened up. Meeting still closed out. Neskin for now opening up a couple of rotates inside the kitchen to give them the ability to move through the map a little more fluidly. They've got full control of what they need on the first floor. Rogue digging in deep and getting ready for the assault.
That's it, and you know, coming into the round, I said, Des, that Rogue, the roam game for them last time around hadn't really been effective on this site, so I wanted them to change it up. They have done. Let's see if they can find themselves a different outcome, because there's still a lot of time to go. The Twitch drone being able to take out a couple of pieces of utility before being destroyed itself leaves us now still 5 versus 5, 1 minute 15 left to go, so we are getting towards that final stage of having to get yourself ready to execute and then move in and actually do it. Aces is just trying to hold on to Shaiko's spot for the time being. He is forced back by the utility that comes in though, so he's going to play a little bit deeper now. Crying's going to be the man staying on pillars.
They made a small mistake there in leaving E-Box closed. I thought they'd opened it up, but if it's obviously not open at this point, then they're in a spot where Aces has been able to retreat very safely from Shaiko's spot, get back into sight, and it's like, surely someone should have been watching that hatch, because you're trying to make the man on Shaiko's spot move. When he moves, you get a kill from Big Tower Stairs. You can swing him. You can play from above on E-Box, and it is opened up, but he just got away for free there, and that really could have been the first kill of the round.
Team 1 maybe just rushing a little bit into certain parts of the round. Rogue are being forced back, but they're retreating well, Des. They're giving away nothing here. Absolute freebie for Aces as Levy drops in front of him, but the kills start to rain in for Team 1. Rogue slam the brakes on though, dig the heels in and continue fighting. 3 versus 3, 15 seconds left to go. Lagonis goes for the spray down, misses. Prano on the nitro, advantage Rogue, but leveled up once again. It's back and forth. Neskin manages to collect the diffuser. 2 versus 1 now, Des. I've no idea how Team 1 are doing it, but they continue fighting. Neskin, he's going to get this diffuser down. Can he do it? The challenge? No, he cannot. Prano gets there just in time, catches him coming off the diffuser, hits him with the shotgun, and will get the disable. And that leaves us now 2-2 on the scoreboard.
Not gonna lie, Tim, this is some scrappy siege at points. You know, Aces not being droned out, being sat on the door. There was no idea from Team 1. They have the 2 smokes come through. No one really makes any moves. It's just, it looks hesitant from Team 1 on the attack, and we can say the same about both teams' attack on Cafe. Maybe why, again, we're seeing that their attacking win rate historically has been so high. Here, now that it comes down to quarterfinals, the pressure mounting up a little bit. You're just starting to see the cracks appearing around the edges, I feel like. And even though there's a really aggressive burst in, you're doing it against a team that is exactly like you and knows this playstyle of pushing from all angles, swamp the site, get kills, thrive on confusion. Both teams are made for that style of play.
Prano 1v2 that we're just going to see him close out here. First spray down onto Lagonis.
Run.
And then just in time, we see Neskin coming off, but a fraction of a second before he can challenge onto Prano. We've seen Prano do that consistently, and he continues to do it here. There's a clutch that I remember from Stage 3, Maestro on Chalet, top floor.
Oh.
Exactly. And we've seen Prano do it a few times through the stage. He's doing it here as well. Honestly, standout performer for Rogue in the last 8 weeks.
We have this conversation a lot about supportive players who are normally IGLs. You know, Brede comes to mind here as someone who can frag out, can be the support player for the team, although he isn't necessarily their IGL. That's Alems's role. Think about Shepard on Empire. Can't really frag out, but is the IGL and, of course, plays the supportive role. Prano, I think, is in a very special place where he's not like a natural IGL from back on his old teams, back on Team Secret. He was the Zofia player. He would lurk for them an awful lot. On this role, he can frag, he plays support, and he IGLs. It is very rare you find a player that can do all three, even amongst the greats, looking at players like Brede.
Again, aggression towards the windows, towards the map from Team 1. They've not really been wasting too much time trying to get inside. KDS just trying to be cheeky there with his drone, just jumping it up. He's going to get caught out in the
Do you remember a certain triple C4 kill that came out?
I do remember a certain triple C4 kill.
From this exact position as well?
It was his exact position.
Oh, really? Oh, imagine if it happened again. That'd be so weird.
I hope Team 1 are aware of that, because right now they're stacking men up onto this window, Des. They're just feeding it here. There's 3 of them.
Don't, boys. Please, don't make it happen again. Don't give Leon the pleasure. I know it's Crying that's holding it, but you know Leon's going to be ecstatic. He finds one with a gun. Forget about the C4. Out it comes. Freebie. Second one lands. A 5 versus 3, and the small tower hold from Rogue has proved victorious so far.
KDS's day continues to be torrid at this point, 0-5, and struggling to get himself into things here. Rogue have just found that spark on Oregon that they needed, Des, and let's remember, every round that they get here on Oregon is 1 round closer, not only to the semi-final, but to 6th invitational qualification.
It would be insane. TSM fans will mould. Crying, finding his 3rd, well not his 3rd, but the team's 3rd in the round, this time onto Alamau. And this is still a war around Small Tower. There's basically been nothing else going on because they're so obsessed with getting this cleared out. What I don't understand is you lose 1 man, forget about it. They're committing 2 members to holding it and shields and 1 my magnets and C4s. Do what you did before. Let's rotate off somewhere else and try and make the play happen. Try and push in through kitchen via meeting side, for example. But they've been a little bit obsessed with it so far. Lagonis rotating his way up through the top floor here and is being challenged. You saw that wall open up just beside him, looking in towards Pit. And Rips still holding on the top floor.
Team 1, I think it's time for a tactical timeout after this, to be honest with you, Des. I think that they need to just be taking a minute to have a chat with each other, because it's not just about the loss of the couple of rounds. It just feels like Team 1 have really lost their edge, and that is a problem. They're losing gunfights. They, like you say, they're not sort of making smart decisions, smart choices. They're not rotating, They're not moving. Rogue come in with a flawless round. I think that Team 1 just need a breather here. They need to speak to each other, and maybe they won't take the tactical timeout, maybe they will, but if ever there was time for it, surely it's now.
That, again, is one of those rounds that I look at and think we've seen Rogue do this before. They've brought a Frost along before for it, or the shields in different spots, ADSs, you name it. That is one of the ones that you look at, and I think if you studied them and understood it, you'd be like, right, they play in here really deep. And the thing is, they didn't really like they had a plan to fight it. They were just like peeking and waiting for Rogue to peek into them, which is fair, because Rogue love peeking, right? But by the same time, they were just happy lying down, holding C4s and throwing them out for free. And by then you've lost 2, 3 members. Like, your attack into Big Tower has been weak, it's been split. Why not just rotate off and try and again attack in through meeting, do something else, and force Rogue to unsettle this defense that they've done? And we've seen so many times.
Exactly that. Coming into the final defensive round then for Rogue. They're going to be back up onto the top floor. 50-50 for them so far here on Oregon today. Played 2 rounds, only won 1, but The problem for Team One here, Des, is the round that they won was the first time that they attacked onto this site. Rogue made some changes, made some adaptations, and had a much better second defense up here. They were more site focused. Prano wasn't as aggressive into Attic. They just sort of controlled the site area particularly better than they had done the time before. So for me, Rogue are coming in here on their strength. They've done this well before. They're now likely to rinse and repeat.
Alrighty. We'll be going back on that top floor then. They are very aware of the fact that this big window has been a hot favourite of Team One today. ADS is stacked up on it, laser gates, holes below, ready with a shotgun inside of security if desired. A shield positioned towards it. They are adapting somewhat to the attacks that we've seen Team One bring, which is where, again, it's a great opportunity for Team One to adapt. For once, let's see you open up the walk-in wardrobe breach. Let's see you take full control of Attic, for example, and don't look at it as an afterthought that you deal with in the late round. Keep Rogue guessing, because they're now starting to realise, Rogue are, that Team One's attacks are looking pretty predictable.
That's exactly it, and ready and waiting for them. They know exactly what to expect, and I think that's, as you say, why they've turned it around.
Oh, no, look, that's what I mean. Like, they know he's going to come in and push here, like, it's infuriating sometimes. Like, come on, Team One. You're better than this, and we know you are, but little kills like that are things that you look at and think, again, you've seen Rogue already having 2 or 3 members on this defense hanging inside of shower and around dining. They had aces in kitchen last time round. It's predictable. What both teams are doing is predictable, but Rogue are the ones that are acting on that predictability. Team One aren't.
KDS is 0-6 deaths, and at least 4 of those deaths have been opening deaths. He's just leaving Team One on such a back foot right now, and you know, I never like to put it on one player. There are other mistakes coming in from Team One here, that much is for sure, but KDS certainly isn't assisting his team right now. You know, whatever it is, if you're taking those entry deaths, you need to pull him off the entry. You need to say, right, get on the drones. It's not working for you today. They need to come up with an alternative, because right now it's punishing them, and so are Rogue. Aces manages to find one onto Levy. This could be another flawless round for Rogue here, Des, as Prano finds Lagonis. 2 men left on the side of Team One. It's Alamau, it's Neskin, and Team One, Des, they look like they're crumbling.
Crumbling something special. You know, 2 entry kills as well. The one for Leon there that came in, uncontested. The one that came from Aces in Big Tower, uncontested. They didn't have a drone in dining. They didn't have one inside a shower corridor, or they could have seen what was going on in dining. They didn't have one in Big Tower. Just almost scared to take too long to do the basics and get drones out and collect information. And it stung them yet again. As it stands, we've got 50 seconds to play with. Neskin has got to pull off something magical. Rips, uncharacteristically, normally it's Crying you see coming up on the lurk, but he is also on Armory side. 2 of them pulling up behind Neskin here. This should be a freebie coming in. Yes, it is. Alamau, the last one left alive, will find Aces. It's a bit of a... Here's a consolation prize, shall we say. Now looking to work his way up wide stairs. Has got 4 members to deal with and only 30 seconds on the clock. Tim, we tend to know how these rounds go.
Well, it tends to be in the favour of the forward, as Alamau trying to do something, and it's going to have to be extra special. That's a nice first kill onto Crying, but look at the crossfire he's moving into, including a shotgun. Tries to take the peek, and that's all they were waiting for, Des. They were just waiting for confirmation of he's come through that door, and as soon as he did, Prano was going to step out with that shotgun. Beautifully worked by Rogue, nice and patient. Great defense again, 4-2 on the half, well deserved, and now they head into what we think could be their stronger half.
3-man swing at the very end as well. Good team play coming out of Rogue. I've touched on the lazy kills a lot, or the lazy death, sorry, I should say, coming out of Team One. I won't touch on them too much more, because, as we saw back on Cafe, the halfway mark of a match is a massive inflection point. Things transform massively, and for all we know, Rogue could equally make as many, if not more, mistakes on their attacking side. We'll give it a few rounds before we draw any judgments about which way this game is going, but you're going to be feeling very confident off the back of that 4-round spree that Rogue just walked away with.
Still no timeout coming in from Team One. Obviously at the minute just feeling that the switch in sides is sufficient. They're just going to see what happens when they get onto the defence. You know, maybe they're confident to a point whereby they're not too worried just yet. But for me, it's not just about the scoreboard, Des. It's not just about the 4 rounds in a row. It's the manner in which they've been losing those rounds.
That's it, that's it. It hasn't looked pretty. Crying, stepping across onto the Nook, something that we saw Alamau bringing along back in the back in Cafe, sorry.
Not too unusual for Crime.
No, it's not. He will play these lurking / roaming roles. And just to clarify, there's been a lot of chats lately around, what's the difference between a roamer, what's a lurker? Roamer on the defender side, the one who gets out in the map. And of course, there are different variations of how you can roam. You can wrap, you can sit in a corner and try and strike, which we've seen Crime do a lot, or you can just roam and hold ground and pull back to site. A lurker tends to be the solo player on a team that will strike and make something happen in the late round whilst the attention is drawn elsewhere. You think of players like Citizen, Laxing, in this case Crying, looking to do much the same. Kind of a different sort of play style, again looking to try and get like a 2k or a 3k on a flank hit later into the round, but those are the differences. Crying will be trying to fulfill that role, I expect, in this round. We'll keep a close eye on him and see what surprises he can cause.
Multiple angles coming in here from Rogue. They've got Leon working the main entrance. Aces is already established inside of Shower Corridor. And again, something I always like to see on the Laundry defenses is those multiple angles.
What's this going right in front now? Oh, is that a drone, Ace?
A drone.
Is that a drone in front of your entry player, Aces? Nah, surely not. I mean, Rips as well is in there as well. This is, again, the team play coming in. Now, Aces has got himself really far inside of Dining. He's paused and got on the drone to let Rips and Prano catch up. They're moving forward as a team. We didn't see this from Team 1 in the first half.
But basically, Aces is going and gaining ground, and then the rest of the team are filling into that. And then Aces pushes out again, gains more ground, and they push in behind him. Up to a point where they can be confident that they're established in the map, and then they move on to the next step of getting themselves ready for the execute, which will be trying to find kills on site, using your nade utility, just trying to clear that space.
It's cover and move. Very simple military tactic that I think many have heard of. Something that Rogue have just shown excellence in. We are 90 seconds in. They're now starting to get all these hatches opened up. They've got the one in security and very shortly the one also inside of meeting. I'm never too sure about the Buck being brought along here. Like the Capital ban may be stinging against Rogue a little bit where they may have brought it. But Buck on this site especially, a Sledge and a Buck in tandem, maybe not so hot. Maybe you could look towards a Zero or something else with information to help you on the flank watch rather than a skeleton key that for all intents and purposes is pretty redundant on this site.
Yeah, there's no verticals other than the hatches which you need the hard breach for, but as you say, Zero can bring those hard breaches anyway, so maybe an alternative. But they've gone with the Buck. Maybe it's just a comfort thing for Prano, particularly liking the weapon or looking to potentially open lines of sight on site as well at a range if there's any soft surfaces. Prano has got himself down to the bottom of the Laundry stairs, and Team 1 need to be aware here, Des, because the danger is starting to mount. There's pressure on Freezer, there's pressure on Laundry. Alamau's alert to that for the time being. Lagonis is waiting in that corner, so Team 1 are set for this. They need to win the gunfights.
It's just won the one with the diffuser as well inside of Laundry. It's big. Rips coming down with Aces as well. Lagonis is distracted. In comes Aces looking the wrong way. Might find himself going down, but Flixen finds the kill. However, the side of one, they leave no prisoners. Wipe out Rogue. A very successful defense. And hey, that's where things can start to bounce back. 4-3 to Rogue.
Team 1 desperately needed that round. It's very much the same. It's basically a mirror image almost of what we saw on Cafe.
Yeah.
This time it was 4-2 instead of 5-1, but the sides have switched and Team 1 get straight in there and get their round that's going to turn that momentum. It leaves them now within one. They're within touching distance of Rogue, who are going to be thinking, right, okay, things aren't going to be that easy on the attack for us. And the wars of the attackers continues here in this matchup. And as you said, it's a bit of a funny one because they're two of the best attacking teams that we've had coming into today. And then all of a sudden, it's the attack that they can't buy a win on.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, Crying, unfortunately, off on the flank as well, not able to get anything done on the Nook, which shut down what would have been potentially a big disruptive play coming down Big Tower or the E-Box drop. However, again, what I will give to Rogue, and I know it can sound biased that I keep on talking about what they're doing right, for them, again, the setup in the actual execute was great. The drone work across the map, the clearing things out together, no blind charging in like what we saw out of KDS back in the first half. It was a lot more structured. However, on the defensive side, Team 1 do look more together. They're playing off each other and covering angles. Neskin's swing, for example, into East Laundry, into Freezer to get the kill, to cover for his teammates was good. So we can see that Team 1 have got the capability. It's going to be that kind of clash point of where does the round end? Does it come down to the execute always and how Rogue sort of struggle to get over the finish line? Can Team 1 actually get out in the map and start disrupting Rogue in the same way? Same outcome, just different approaches by both teams.
KDS going to be playing aggressively onto the master door for the time being. Doesn't have a deployable shield, something that we'll occasionally see inside a trophy there, just to try and support that player. So I'd imagine his hold is going to be pretty loose. As soon as he's challenged there, likely to dip away. I think he's just trying to see if he can get himself a cheap kill, and with only one on the board, he could certainly do with one. All it's going to take is a drone to just force him back. No, he's continuing that challenge. I thought he dipped himself away from the angle. The nade comes in, and there you go. That's going to push KDS back. Didn't take too much, but he's done his job. He's wasted a nice 40 seconds there, and he's going to relocate into near that double window.
It's good from Leon as well to take advantage of the nade going into trophy. Uses that to gain ground inside a bedroom where KDS then isn't really free to be able to swing and contest him because he's got the whole room to then play in. More spaces for KDS to have to check on the gunfight. Less chance of coming out the winner. Levy holding down hard here inside of Attic as well. Just looking to say, look, you want to come in here? We've got loads of magnets stacked up. Toss as many frag grenades as you'd like.
They didn't get the mute jammer with that nade by the looks of things, so Attic wall, yep, still going to be jammed up, so going to have to find an alternative here. They've got 2 nades left on Iana, but it may create a rotation requirement. No, they've got it sorted now, so that is problem 1 solved. They've gone underneath, opened up and got the angle instead, but still, extra time being burnt. Down to 1 minute 30 here, and we've still got Team 1 established inside of Attic, and we haven't had a kill between these two yet. It's a little bit of a standoff so far here in round 8, but the pressure is going to start mounting now as the kill comes in. KDS gets 1, but Crying onto Levy. Alamau finds Crying in a trade and a second. Team 1 are fronting up to Rogue Des. They're having absolutely none of this, but there we go. Alamau found by Prano on the window rappel. He's going to go in. He doesn't know there's a man next to him, and Lagone steps out with a big moment, rips on the trade, but in a 1v2 now, it's not going to be easy. He's got time, Des, but that's about all he's got.
Well, KDS has also got next to no HP. A single bullet will be enough to put him down, but I don't think he's aware of Neskin holding off on White. As long as one play this with a swing together, this could be highly successful for them. Neskin holding close, goes to the swing around, finds, rips his head. Team 1 bring things all even. It feels like Cafe all over again. And that map 3 is starting to feel closer and closer.
So excited at the prospect. We've got a few to do here yet. Team 1 going to be leading us into round 9, continuing their defense. They've got the first 2 rounds successfully. It's been dorms, it's been laundry. The big question now is that tertiary site. They're going to have to go to one of the off sites. It looks like the choice is going to be dining and kitchen rather than meeting. Dining, generally speaking, is more popular. Meeting was the sort of tertiary one the map first came out, but it's dipped away from there. Team 1, can they hold on to it?
6-5 and win the offsite again, they close things out. The 4-2 perfect split. Solved from what we're used to seeing in Siege over the years is that you would win your 2 primary sites and the offsite would be the one that you go on to lose as the defender. 4-2 half, 4-2 half, overtime, and things play out from there. Let's see how this setup goes though. We've seen pretty good control from Rogue in clearing out this west side of the map and getting inside a small tower. Looking towards the same thing once again. Whether or not there's going to be a pretty aggressive play coming in will really come down to whether or not Team 1 can respond as well. They're not exactly short on the information gain. They've got the Banshees on side. They've got the Yokai drones that Lagonis can get out in the field as well. And hopefully that helps them deal with any would-be aggression coming from Rogue.
Just about to get underway. We've got the site being prepared here. Lagonis bringing along the Echo. We've not really seen too much impact from the Yokai drones today. Informationally, they did have a little bit of something to say on Cafe, but we haven't seen those moments of trying to deny those diffuser plants going down. It's probably a good call against Rogue because, as we said coming in, they are an objective-focused team. They do like to get in there, and Prano's stats through Stage 3 show that the highest planting numbers in the entire world for Prano in Stage 3. So Rogue will try and get the diffuser down if given the opportunity. Lagonis, usually the last alive, does very well in terms of survivability, so we might just start to see those Yokai drones have more of an impact.
Fingers crossed for sure. We haven't seen them really being used for the interruption in fights. And we were speaking, in plans, and we spoke about this a bit yesterday in one of our casts, actually. No, not yesterday, I think it was Wednesday. Honestly, the week's all a blur.
We've done a lot of casting.
We've done a lot of casting the last week or so, Ace. We were speaking about how we're seeing some teams using the Yokais actually to interrupt fights, and I believe it was in a Rogue game, actually. Ace has got blasted by one as he swung for a gunfight and couldn't hit his shots because his aim just went all over the shop and he missed what would have been an otherwise guaranteed kill. So I'm liking that we're seeing the Yokais being used more aggressively in that way. With the changes coming in the next season, high caliber as well, you'll be able to get them outside the map for 10 seconds at a time. That'll be a lot of information being collected for aggressive jump outs and so on. Look forward to seeing how that evolves.
Already, we've got a lot of gunfire going down and a lot of aggression coming in from Rogue here. They've got themselves established in meeting. They've got themselves an opening kill. That was Aces with a nade from the top of Freezer stairs into security, and it's going well for Rogue so far. The entry that they needed, it's also Alamau that's been taken down. He's one of the talismanic players on side of Team One and the player that you're looking towards to get those big moments. KDS just thrown back by a nade. Will find a kill onto Neskin at the bottom of White Stairs. KDS trades it out, but Rogue just keep themselves ahead here, Des, and that tactical timeout has had a massive impact on this side once again. And as I said, they've now come in with a new focus to get that diffuser down, and that's exactly what Prano will do. 1 versus 4 now, it's all up to KDS.
2, almost 3 frag grenade kills in the round as well from Rogue. Man! Really going to the high heavens with explosives here. Only 6 on side, but again, 3 almost kills, half a 50% kill rate. You're never going to be complaining about that. KDS has got a lot to do, tries to find the man, but Rips lands the kill first, of course, onto a lower HP. KDS walks away the winner, and Rogue have done it. They have broken the spell, but Tim, it is the offsite, like I said earlier on.
Again, I'm going to go back to that timeout in Cafe and just say how similar this is that we've seen, you know, a sort of renewed Rogue on the attack come back in. They get the diffuser down straight away, really playing the objective well. Great round from Rogue. It was on the sort of quote-unquote off-site for Team One. They're going to be going back to sites now that they've defended very, very well. But Rogue are 2 rounds away, Des. Just 2 rounds away from qualifying for 6 Invitational 2022. They can touch it at this point.
TSM are going to be cursing Team One if this carries on as well. It's like, all you had to do was beat Rogue. You were the chosen one. And the chosen ones, unfortunately, are slowly falling by the wayside. I really do hope, again, I will stress this, I really want this game to go to Chalet. Both teams, fantastic attacking teams. Chalet, a very attacker-favoured map. It deserves it. It deserves all 3 maps. It'd be a shame for Team One to go down in the history books. The team that won the Mexico Major, come the next one, got knocked out 2-0 in quarterfinals. It doesn't deserve that. It deserves at least 3.
The thing is, as I keep saying, it comes back to Team One's performance, and if they go out like this, to me, they're going out with a whimper. You know, they're not going out fighting, they're not going out screaming and kicking. They haven't really performed to their best here so far today, is the reality, and I'm sure they'll be frustrated with themselves as well. There's still an opportunity for them to show us more. You, everybody at home would love to see that final map of Chalet, Des. It'd put us on the edge of our seats, which is exactly where we want to be, but there's a couple of rounds that need to be won yet if Team One are going to deliver that sort of excitement for us, and I'm just not convinced that they've got it in the tank at the minute.
No, I'm not so sure either on, but let's see. Hopefully it is there. Again, they've won the first 2 sites they played. It was the downstairs and the top floor, so I'm hopeful at the very least they can get those on the board and get us up to 6. For Rogue, it's going to be a big tower take start. They've got 3 members looking to push up here. KDS, the one lurking around there, looking to collect a drone or 2 on his journeys and his travels back to site. Here, they're starting to push their way forward. KDS, the only one holding the north, and I think, was it interesting with the rotation coming off? I thought for a second they were just going to storm their way down and try and kill KDS, but a quick change away towards green may mean things are changing here.
KDS just going to hold on to Shaiko's spot for the time being, watching onto rear stage, but as you say, the attention and the focus from Rogue just being moved onto the electrical hatch, and also Leon just looking to apply some pressure over by Freezer as well. So now Team One, they're doing exactly the same as they did last time around, Des. They're just playing this inside a sight. They are supremely confident of the angles that they hold and winning the gunfights. Now then, Rips absolutely getting away with that before being taken down. But that could be a big one. Taking out the ADS and allowing the challenge onto elbow might factor later in the round.
It's going to make it a bit nervy for Team One to play there, and you might see a member of 2 of Rogue rotate off and look to push down there now that he's not so safe. Ideally, a grenade operator. It's currently Rips pushing down there, who's again back on the shock drones. KDS holding in Harry Potter, by the way, up towards Big Tower as one tries to step their way down. Grenade coming zinging through, but can they find anyone? No, Pillar is clear despite 2 nades coming in. Aces looks the wrong way. It's a slaughter! Team One butchering Rogue as they step their way through. 4 kills fly in, make it a flawless round. Team One are still here to play.
Certainly are. There was a little bit of a droning mistake there. In fact, we see it on the screen bang in front of us, the Twitch drone there. Look at which way it's pointing. It never looked under the stairs. They didn't know that KDS was there, and he was a part of that moment. moment for Team One. He was one of the 3 kills that rained in, and I feel like Rogue just maybe rushed that a little bit. It was like the drone went in, and it was almost like a call had come to Rips of like, right, we're going. And he cut off the drone and tried to push in, and it just didn't really work out for them. Team One able to secure the round. We're guaranteed to see at least 12 here, Des. Whether we'll see more than that, we did in map 1, we might in map 2. We have an uncanny knack of attracting the overtimes, and it certainly looks like we could be heading in that direction, because, you know, let's see if we can think about the future for a second, Des. We've got Team One going up to dorms. Team One won dorms last time around. They're then going to have to go to their 3rd choice site, which they failed at last time around, and that paints a timeline for me that sees us going all the way to overtime.
You've just been rubbing your bald head and getting the crystal ball on the go again. Oh, great bald head. What do you see as the future?
Well, it's usually supposed to do. You're supposed to stand above me and you can see what you can read.
That was the thing with the meme we did for SI, right? Last year, yeah. And I was like rubbing your head, saying, "Oh, what's the future hold for us?" Oh,
I've still no idea why I let you do that.
I don't know why you let me do a lot of things, to be honest, but
very
you do.
True. That is very true.
You endure, and for that, you are a real trooper, Ace. Let's see how this next round plays out. Then 11 we're stepping into up on the top floor. And that last round, you look at the crossfires being held by Team One again. I spoke about it before, that Rogue are given a lot of map control. Team One don't want to contest them out on the roam. They're saying, look, you guys get yourselves prepped. We are confident we can win when the execution comes to bear. They fell short once. I mean, really, it was a massive scrap around Zulu that went completely by the wayside for the side of Team One for the most part. When they've been on site, and that's when they've had the gunfights, that's when they've come out successful. So again, don't worry about getting up in the grills of Rogue and making them sweat a little bit. Let them come to you and do what you do best, which is hold crossfires, play for C4s, burn Rogue down once they go for... Well, in a couple of rounds, it's been quite a messy, mistimed execute, it's felt like, with different members doing different things at different times.
Neskin just got spotted out by Rips's drone in security, which has led Cryin to start holding a tight line on that door, but he doesn't want to make the challenge solo. Neskin has been able to wriggle away into kitchen. He had a rotation opened up, so he's going to try to hold on there for as long as possible, but he's getting drawn from every which way, Des. Andy's getting surrounded. Prano, Cryin, Rips, they're all going in for Neskin here, and they're going to get him if this carries on. Rips is going to send a drone in once again. They know that he's inside of security right now. Neskin's days are surely numbered. He's going to have to fight his way out of here, and it's not going to be easy. Leon manages to get a kill onto Levy. Neskin pinned in, as we expected. Rips with the kill there, and Rogue are rolling.
Like a monkey in a cage with the fire lit underneath. He was not getting out anytime soon. Another frag grenade kill flies through, and what concerns me the most, Tim, is this is on that top floor site. We needed Team One to win this, because otherwise, well, next round could have been them rotating out down towards Reading and Dining again. And we saw how that played out last time. Maybe they'll try a repeat of this site, I don't know, but things are going from bad to worse. Rogue on course for another flawless round. Can they make it 3 in a row to knock Team One out in quarterfinals, advance through to the semis themselves, and lock in the 6th Invitational?
They are just 1 round away, Des. Nobody expected that this was possible for Rogue back in EUL Stage 2, yet here they are. And they're not just here, Des, they are winning right now. They are heading for a potential semi-final, a guarantee of a top 4 finish.
Ooh, just one more, boys, and you know they're riding on the high right now.
This is where the nerves can potentially start to kick in. The reality of the situation is in front of them. We've seen teams before struggle to clinch out games. I'm not sure that's going to be the case for Rogue, because I feel like they've come in here viewing this as a bone.
Levy did the same, but second half of that map just simply didn't exist.
No, it really didn't, and it was just so well played by Rogue. You know, we were watching it unfold there, and the pressure that came in on Neskin to start things off, the drone work, he just had absolutely nowhere to go, Des. There was no way out. The absolute best he could have hoped for would have been to take one with him. But he didn't even manage that because he was just under so much pressure. So Team One, this is your moment. You've got to think of a different way. You've got to change things up, because right now, Rogue, they're going to be expecting the kitchen security hold. They're going to expect to have that roamer underneath, and they're going to look to deal with it in exactly the same way. So Team One, it's time to pull out plan B.
The plan B here might be to get out around the map. You never know. I mean, it's been very, again, passive on site so far, as we said several times over now.
5 seconds left.
And maybe getting out on the map and trying to meet Rogue is the risk. It's where they lost out previously and where they've lost out before a couple of times. We'll see what the game plan is. So far, most of them sat around site. KDS inside a trophy, looking to do a little bit of time wasting. Normally matched up against Leon, as we've seen multiple times over, and I believe that's Leon on the south side again. If it is, well, you know exactly what kind of starting fight we're going to see here, Tim.
Neskin's down in security and kitchen once again. He's got Alamai working the hatch just above him, I think. He's trying to give him an exit route this time so that he can drop away and go into basement. So that's a little bit of something, at least, for Neskin to be able to do things differently here. Because, again, I imagine Rogue are not just going to leave him completely out in the cold for too long. Although, for the time being, the push is largely coming in on the big tower side. It looks like they might try to just apply a bit of pressure to Attic.
Burn through one of their frags there to burn through a magnet that was inside of Kid's bedroom, which might make Lagonis sweat a little bit. He is sat in the far back corner of Kid's here, and of course, he's got to be very careful about any more grenades that come singing on through, not least because he's playing on the Echo, and those Yokais can be so valuable. But the side of Rogue, there's quite a split coming in. Ace is on the south side, a couple playing up towards the north, and one currently pushing into what I believe is Armory. So again, this multi-sided push is starting to get set up here. We'll see how well Team 1 can hold on once they get to the point of execution.
Last time Rogue obviously just saw the opportunity to clear Neskin out and took it, but this time, as you say, just splitting themselves up and looking to get aggressive around the map. Rips has got himself established inside a big tower now, just looking to put this pressure onto Team 1 inside of Attic. Prano able to open up the game's wall, so that's going to give access to the default plant spot inside a minute and a half, and Rogue are moving pretty nicely here. If they can tag along a kill or two with this, Des, they could be well on the way.
However, their drone count is very quickly whittling down towards 0, so they don't have a way of collecting additional information the longer this round goes on. You can lean towards Aces using the Iana Gemini, but that's not really going to be enough for you because you need the full information and breadth of what's going on the site itself. Neskin is still playing on the downstairs and hasn't been dealt with. Rogue limited on the information game as we enter that final 60 seconds. It's time to make something happen, and I get the feeling it's going to be a messy one, Ace.
I think it is, as you say. Neskin's been left alone this time, so he'll be able to come up that white stairs flank, and like you say, messy is exactly the word here. Des, kills just raining in, back and forward, but Rogue, they come out standing tall on top, and it's all up to Neskin to keep Team 1 not only in the game, but in the 6th Sweden Major. Rogue have got the diffuser down on the ground. This is their moment. This is the time that they can push forward into the semi-final, into the 6th Invitational, and there is the kill. Crying does the job for them. Rogue with an amazing team effort to beat the reigning major champions inside 2 maps, and Rogue have just sent a message to everybody else here in Sweden that they are here to play. They are here